Captain on the bridge.
Alright, Captains, we are back here on the bridge, and today, yes, we will be on the Dauntless 2 from Star Trek Prodigy. Before we get into this video, do us a huge favor, Captain, hit that like button, but also if you're new here, welcome. Consider subscribing here to the YouTube bridge, where we're always on the lookout for like-minded captains to share our love, passion for Star Trek Online, but also things Star Trek. Now that said, here we go. Yes, Captains, as you can see, it's the Dauntless 2, and huge shout out to one of our major supporters here on the YouTube bridge, Admiral Mikey, aka DAIMON TARR. Thank you so much for gifting us this ship, and actually gifted us the next 2 other ships after this one that we'll be doing build videos on as well. But for today, it is going to be this. So what we're going to do in this video is go over the build, the weapons, space set, consoles, stations, trace, and offs, then take it into a Cure Advance, and then see how it does. But yes, now I will say, visually, it's not the most good-looking ship. It looks like a Mauser from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Comment below if you know what that is. A Mauser, but I will say performance-wise, it is actually really good in my opinion. So as I mentioned, it is the Dauntless 2 Command Science Dreadnought. And I think the key word here for me to enjoy this is the command. As captains, you know I love my command ships because I get to put torpedo spam on them, and this is kind of what it is. So let's start here. Again, with the 4 weapons, this is what we decided to do, is kind of go with a photon theme here, as we saw on some of the clips from Prodigy. It was firing photon torpedoes. So you know what, that's all we needed to create this build. So the first one up is the gravimetric photon torpedo launcher, one of my favorite torps still to this day. This is from the Dyson Rep. Next up is a Terran Task Force photon torpedo launcher, again also from the Terran Rep. Does some really good damage and increases damage as the HP of your target goes down, so that's why I like it. Now, to round this off, we decided to use 2 photon torpedo launchers, damage times 3 with the spread mod, because why not? Space set is what we have, nothing too different. The Elite Fleet Intervention Protomatter Deflector, that's from your fleet colony. Then you have a deteriorating sec def. We just bought this on the exchange, and we use it when we have to. The impulse engines, the prevailing innovative impulse engines from your competition rep. The Tholian nucleating warp core, which was an event prize a couple years ago. And then the shields are the Tilly's Review Pending Modified Shield from the Discovery Rep. Now the aft weapons here, this is what we decided to do. We did decide to put an omnidirectional Protostar phaser beam because obviously we are keeping with the theme, and the beams there are definitely different. This has more of kind of like a red look to it. It's okay, it's just there for looks, to be honest. But rounding off the aft weapons here, we have the Prolonged Engagement Photon Torpedo, which you can get from the Phoenix prize pack, I believe at the ultra rare or very rare tier, as a 180-degree targeting, so it will fire here and there. And then rounding off, another photon torpedo with the spread mod. Our devices, we have some Torp Candy for the plus 30% bonus projectile damage for 20 seconds and plus 5% critical severity for 20 seconds. We have Evasive Maneuvers in a Can, aka Deuterium Surplus, and the Kobayashi Maru Transponder for its buff goodness. Onto the consoles here. The binaural infusion circuits, which you can get from the Low-Buy store, and love this console. It's mostly on all of my builds. Straight up 26.2% crit severity with 29.5 Starship hull capacity, so not too bad at all. Next up is the Covert Warhead Module. This actually comes from the Terran Eagle. Plus 28% projectile damage. Sets shared torpedo recharge time to 1.5 seconds. It was longer or to 0.5 if it's equipped in a pilot ship, but it's not. So it's there definitely just for the projectile damage. Next up here, we're actually going to use the console that comes with the ship. Now, I didn't see this fire in Prodigy because I don't really watch it. I asked someone said yes, whatever, it came with it. It's not photon looking, it more looks like micro quantum torpedoes, but we're going to leave it here just because. Gives us 5 max ox, plus 17.1 Starship projectile weapons training, and exotic particle. This is not a sci-fi build at all, but what it does is a torpedo swarm deals AoE kinetic damage at 180-degree targeting arc, launches a huge number of small torpedoes to overwhelm enemy defenses. 6,410 times 12 damage to target and nearby foes. But to keep up with the torpedo photon spam, we have the torpedo point defense system, which you can get from the Akira. As you can see there, this thing has like a very short cooldown. I think I can fire it almost like every minute, but automatically attacks nearby enemies at 5,783.5 kinetic damage per 6 per target, or times 6 per target. Now we're going to use the emulating phaser lance. Now this has almost the same look as the Protostar phaser, so it works out really well. And of course, we got this from the Deimos Pilot Destroyer, plus 15.8% phaser damage to help our little Omni Beam there, and this, of course, and the plus 43.8 Starship Shields pen. Next up, another staple of our build, the Dynamic Power Redistributor Module from the Atlas, or aka Prototype Dreadnought, which you can get from your event campaign prize. 11.3 all damage resistance rating, plus 19% directed energy damage to help again our lonely Omni Beam there. But for the main purpose, when we click it, it gives us bonus damage resistance, and hull regen. So for 20 seconds, plus 40% bonus damage while above 80% hull, plus 100 bonus damage resistance rating, plus 500% hull regen. And of course, we pair it up with the Point Defense Bombardment Warhead for its plus 25% projectile damage, the 1% crit chance. Now, the two-piece of these two consoles do give plus 33% phaser damage, so it's helping that lonely beam, as I mentioned. Next up is the Swarmer Matrix, plus 30% turn speed, flight speed, and damage for your hangar pets and targetable torpedoes, but also gives plus 50 projectile weapon training. I just got this on the exchange a long time ago, and I put it here and there on my torp builds. And then we round it off here by using 3 locators from the Fleet Spire. That gives us plus 2% critical chance, plus 34.5% torpedo weapon damage. And for the hangar pets, well, we're going to be using probably one of the best shuttle pets that we have in game, which are the Elite Type 7. Why? Because look at that. Not only do you get Omni Phaser Beam Arrays with Fire at Will, but you also get Attack Pattern Beta 3. So it debuffs your enemy there, so that's pretty good in my opinion. So that is the loadout there. Now, stat-wise, that gives us crit chance of 39.4%. and crit severity of 161.3%. Now, keep in mind, captains, I do have my Pendevers helping me. I do have mine ranked up to 600. I know I can go to 750, but we were doing good before the level cap, and we're doing fine now, so I really don't see a reason to use it. Maybe one day I'll fill them out, but for now, we are going to keep it as is. Next, going over the skills here. Have not changed it, don't plan on changing it. As you can see there, it is what it has been for the last 2, 3, maybe even 4 years, 5 years. 8 spent in engineering, 10 in sci, and then 28 in tactical. For our traits, this is what we got going on. So personal space traits, unconventional systems, intelligence agent attaché, the Boimler effect, a good day to die, adaptive offense, into the breach, kinetic precision, self-modulating fire, superior projectile training, and inspirational leader. For our starship traits, this is what we got going on. And notice, captains, we did not T6X2 this, because I always like to see how a ship does straight out of the box. And really, this is just for fun. Any ship that you use can do, as long as you synergize the build. So we're only working with 5 traits, and these are the 5 that we picked. So entwine tactical matrices. So back-to-back torp spread 1s. Universal designs. The ruin of our enemies. We do have subspatial warheads that will help us here and there. And then lastly, piercing projectiles. And then for space, reputation, advanced targeting systems, omega kinetic shearing, precision, torpedo pre-fire sequence, and Tyler's duality. Next up, our stations, left, right, top to bottom. This is what we got going on. So distributed targeting, attack pattern beta 1. So we have this beta 1 helping our beta 3 from our pets as well. So science team 1, we have Dr. Beverly Crusher here. So whenever we use this, we do get a torpedo high yield 1, which will then trigger subspatial warheads. There is a bit of a cooldown, but when it triggers, well, then we get some subspatial warheads. Next up, hemocyte laced weaponry. Of course, beam fire will pair it up with our torpedo spread 3, which is a beautiful sight, to be honest. And with the ETM trait, yeah, back-to-back torp spreads. Next, emergency powered engines. We got Heisenberg amplifier, recursive shearing, the stop hitting yourself power, I call it. And then in this slot here, the command slot, well, we got the structural analysis, delayed overload cascade for a little bit more kinetic damage. And of course, our 2 favorite, because this is a command ship, so concentrate firepower 3 and call emergency artillery 3. So that's the stations there. Now onto our doofs. So we have the 2 on ground helping us in space. So Neil Falconer for increased damage versus the Borg, along with Elder Milikatan, increased damage versus all. And in our active space, we have the emergency con holographic officer. Gives us a recharge evasive maneuvers when we use emergency powered engines. See Tarsa, and see here, projectile weapons officer. Chance to reduce the time to recharge torpedoes. And then 2 other projectile officers here, which both give a chance to stack crit severity when firing projectiles. Zlyrine, of course, increased damage versus the Borg. And 38 of 47 deflector officer, reduce other bridge officer ability cooldowns after using 1, and this is mostly for command usage. So there you go, that is the build. I will say I have been having fun on the ship. Most of you know I'm all in for the looks, but performance wise, because it's a command ship, I've been having fun. It does what it needs to. Again, not the best looker, but Admiral Mikey decided to gift us this, so this video is dedicated to you, good sir. So we'll take it into a cure advance, as we normally do, to test it out. We're going to go to the left docking station, clear that out as fast as we can, clear out the ships heading towards the Kang, clear out the right docking station, head over to the middle, clear that out, and then finish the TFO, hopefully unscathed. Keyword hopefully. Here we go. Let's see how she does. Here we go. Alright, let's get some of our shittles out. Kobayama Shimiru. Aim over there.
This is the Kobayashi Maru.
Indeed. We're gonna hit as fast as we can. There's the torpedo spam right there. So that clears out that and most of the ships there. We're gonna head over here, try to clear this out. Just to make sure that we clear them out as fast as we can. I gotta be careful though too, because the gravimetric torpedoes can kill me. Clear that out too as well before they get to the Kang. Oh, these guys got through. Torpedoes away. We got one lonely one here. We're gonna just take care of that. We do have a sphere here. Kind of bugging it, so we'll take care of that. There you go. Let's clear this now. We'll use that again. Okay, clear that. Ooh, look at all that torps. The torp spam is real. Okay, we'll clear these first. The neck bar is heading over to the Kang. Ooh. Like I said, captains, me love my torpedo builds. So yeah, you can see the phaser lines has the same almost color as the Omni beam there. Alright, so let's finish off this. Okay, there you go, we cleared that out. Relatively easy, and then we'll clear that last Raptor. Woo!
From this time forward, your culture will adapt to service ours.
Not bad, not bad. Now we'll tell the King to get out of here, so we can safely take care of the last bit of enemies here. We'll load up here. We're gonna have our DPRM come up. Woo! Oh, jeez. Ah. That's crazy. That's crazy. That always brings a smile to my face. Whenever. So we'll head over here, take some ship selfies, possibly the one that will be used for the thumbnail. Captains, in case you don't know, the ship selfies are what we call shelfies here. But there you go, that is how she did, and she performed really well. And again, that's because the main builds that we use here in Star Trek Online are torpedo builds. So let's head out here. Then give our final 2 ECs, but that's how she did. And I can't say that I'm disappointed how she did. And again, I want to say a huge thank you and shout out to Admiral Mikey for gifting this us along with the next ships that we'll be featuring on this channel, so look out for those. But for the Dauntless 2, between the original Dauntless and this one, I would have to say visually, I would have to give it to the first one. Performatively, this one takes the cake, and as you can see, Captains, it did quite well there. And on the IAC that we did actually on the last stream, this did about 700. I think I've pushed it up to about 8. And this is not T6X2, so this could even be better. And of course, if Captains are Saifu Captains, they can probably use this and definitely have better performance out of this. So again, huge thank you, Mikey, for gifting this to us. It's part of our fleet. We're so happy and appreciative for your support. Captains, do us a huge favor and hit that like button to help the overall channel out. Also, comment below, let us know what you think of the Dauntless 2. If this is also a ship that you already have, we'd like to know. And also, if you're new here, subscribe to the YouTube Bridge, and we'll leave it on this note.
Live long and prosper.